today. I kind of just before I kind of want to ask something. So in the intro type thing, it already tells you what day it is and what we're gonna read. So in the comments below, I want you guys to say whether you want me to just start reading or do you like the whole welcome back, this is day whatever and things like that. It would be a great input because I don't know if that's messing up my videos or not. But anyways, let's get started. Chapter 22. If someone steals an ox or sheep and then kills or sells it, the thief must pay back 5 oxen or each oxen stolen, and 4 sheep for each sheep stolen. If a thief is caught in the act of breaking into a house and is struck and killed in the process, the person who killed the thief is not guilty of murder. But if it happens in daylight, the one who killed the thief is guilty of murder. A thief who is caught must pay in full for everything he stole. If he cannot pay, he must be sold as a slave to pay for his theft. If someone steals an ox or donkey or a sheep and is found in the thief's possession, then the thief must pay double the value of the stolen animal. If an animal is grazing in the field or vineyard, and the owner lets it stray into someone else's field to graze, then the animal's owner must pay compensation for the best of its own grain or grapes. If you are burning thorn bushes and fire gets out of control and spreads into another person's field, destroying the sheaves or the uncut grain of the whole crop, the one who started the fire must pay for the lost crop. Suppose someone leaves money or goods with a neighbor for safekeeping and they are stolen from the neighbor's house. If the thief is caught, the compensation is double the value of what is stolen. But if the thief is not caught, the neighbor must appear before God, who will determine if I had to kind of finish a few things. We're on verse 8, I believe. But if the thief is not caught, the neighbor must appear before God, who will determine if he stole the property. Suppose there is a dispute between 2 people who both claim that to own a particular ox, donkey, sheep, article of clothing, or any lost property. Both parties must come before God, and the person whom God declares guilty must pay double compensation to the other. Now suppose someone leaves a donkey, ox, sheep, or any other animal in a neighbor for safekeeping, but it dies or it's injured or gets away and no one sees what happened. The neighbor must then take an oath in the presence of the Lord. If the Lord confirms the neighbor did not steal the property, the owner must accept the verdict and no payment will be required. But if the animal was indeed stolen, the guilty person must pay compensation to the owner, and if it was torn to pieces by a wild animal, the remains of the carcass must be shown as evidence and no compensation will be required. If someone borrows an animal from a neighbor and it is injured or dies when the owner is absent, the person who borrowed it must pay full compensation, but if the owner was present, no compensation will be required. And no compensation is required if the animal was rented, for this loss is covered by the rental fee. If a man seduces a virgin who is not engaged to anyone and has sex with her, he must pay the customary bride price and marry her. But if her father refuses to let him marry her, the man must still pay him an amount equal to the bride price of a virgin. You must not allow sorceress, I don't know, sorceress, for any of those who know what it means or know how to pronounce it, to live. Anyone who has sexual relations with an animal must certainly be put to death. Anyone who sacrifices to God other than the Lord must be destroyed. You must not mistreat or oppress foreigners in any way. Remember, you yourselves were once foreigners in the land of Egypt. You must not exploit a widow or any orphan. If you exploit them in any way and they cry out to me, then I will certainly hear their cry. My anger will blaze against you, and I will kill you with the sword. Then your wives will be widows, and your children will be fatherless. If you lend money to any of my people who are in need, do not charge interest as a money lender would. If you take your neighbor's coat as security for a loan, you must return it before sunset. This coat may be the only blanket your neighbor has. How can a person sleep without it? If you do not return it, and your neighbor cries out to me for help, then I will hear, and I am merciful. You must not dishonor God or curse any of your rulers. Rulers. You must not hold anything back when you give me offerings from your crops and your wine. You must give me your firstborn son. You must give me your firstborn sons. You must also give me the firstborn of your cattle, sheep, and goat. But leave the newborn animal with its mother for 7 days. Then give it to me on the 8th day. You must be my holy people. Therefore do not eat any animal that has been torn up and killed by wild animals. Throw it to the dogs. Chapter 23. You must not pass along false rumors. You must not cooperate in evil people by living in the witness stand, by lying on the witness stand. You must not follow the crowd in doing wrong when you are called to testify in a dispute. Do not be swayed by the crowd and twist justice, and do not slant your testimony in favor of a person just because that person is poor. If you come upon your enemy's ox or donkey that is strayed away, take it back to its owner. If you see the donkey of someone who hates you has collapsed under its load, do not walk by. Instead, stop and help. In a lawsuit, you must not deny justice to the poor. Be sure never to charge anyone falsely with evil. Never sentence an innocent or blameless person to death, for I never declare a guilty person to become innocent. Take no bribes, for a bribe makes you ignore something that you clearly see. A bribe takes even a righteous person twist the truth. Makes even a righteous person twist the truth. You must not oppress foreigners. You know what it's like to be a foreigner, for you yourselves were once foreigners in the land of Egypt. Plant and harvest your crops for 6 years, but let the land be renewed and lie uncultivated during the 7th year. Then let poor among you harvest whatever grows on its own. Leave the rest for the wild animals to eat. The same applies to your vineyard and olive groves. You have 6 days each week for your ordinary work, but on the 7th day you must stop working. This gives your ox, you and your ox, donkey. This gives your ox and your donkey a chance to rest. It also allows your slaves and the foreigners living among you to be refreshed. Pay close attention to my instructions. You must not call on the name of any other gods. Do not even speak their names. Each year you must celebrate 3 festivals in my honor. First, celebrate the festival of unleavened bread for 7 days. Unleavened bread. For 7 days the bread you eat must be made without yeast, just as I commanded you. Celebrate this festival annually at the appointed time in early spring, in the month of Abib, for that is the anniversary of your departure from Egypt. No one may appear before me without an offering. Second, celebrate the festival of harvest. When you bring me the first crops of your harvest, finally celebrate the festival. When you bring me your first crops of harvest. Finally, celebrate the festival of the final harvest. At the end of the harvest season, when you have harvested all the crops from your fields, at these 3 times each year, every man in Israel must appear before the sovereign, the Lord. You must not offer the blood of my sacrificial offerings together with any baked goods containing yeast. And do not leave the fat from the festival offerings until the next morning. As you harvest your crops, bring the very best of the first harvest to the house of the Lord your God. You must not cook a young goat in its mother's milk. See, I am sending an angel before you to protect you on your journey and lead you safely to the place I have prepared for you. Pay close attention to him and obey his instructions. Do not rebel against him, for he is my representative, and he will not forgive your rebellion. But if you are careful to obey him, following all my instructions, then I will be an enemy to your enemies, and I will oppose those who oppose you. For my angel will be good before you and bring you into the land of the Amorites, Hittites, Perizzites, Canaanites, Hivites, and Jebusites, so you may live there, and I will destroy them completely. You must not worship the gods of these nations or serve them in any way or intimidate their evil imitate their evil practices. Instead, you must utterly destroy them and smash their sacred pillars. You must serve only the Lord your God. If you do, I will bless you with food. I will bless you with food and water, and I will protect you from illnesses. There will be no miscarriages or infertility in your land, and I will give you long, full lives. I will send my terror ahead of you and create panic among all the people whose lands you invade. I will make all your enemies lands turn and run. I will send terror ahead of you to drive out the Hittites, Canaanites, and you will Hivites, Canaanites, and Hittites, but I will not drive them out in a single year, because the land would become desolate, and the wild animals would multiply and threaten you. I will drive them out a little at a time until your population has increased enough to take possession of the land. And I will fix your boundaries from the Red Sea to the Mediterranean Sea, and from the eastern wilderness to the Euphrates River. I will hand over you the people now living in the land, and you will drive them out ahead of you. Make no treaties with them or their gods. They must not live in your land, or they will cause you to sin against me. If you serve their gods, you will be caught in the trap of idolatry. Idolatry. Okay, so that's our reading for today. That was chapters 22 and 23. Yeah, sorry. I was trying to think. So a lot of it was kind of like the Ten Commandments, but more so to the point where it's like legal things, kind of like yesterday's. There's a lot of like, if somebody was to steal this man's stuff, then this would happen to them, and things like that. So the consequences and what would happen if you did a certain thing. And again, and then it talked about how there's going to be the angel of the Lord, and they're going to go back on the rest of their trip, and they have to follow them. And what I thought was really smart, because God's awesome and he knows everything. He says he's not going to drive the Hittites and the Hivites and the Canaanites away in 1 year, so that he's going to like slowly take them out and make them leave, because if he made them leave all in 1 year, and the Israelites' population isn't big enough to actually live in that big of land, the wild animals in the empty land would end up will start multiplying, and then they would overrun and threaten them. So that's a smart, pretty cool thing that he told them. And one thing that I thought was really cool was he says that there was an angel that was going to instruct them. So I wonder if that angel came into the form of a person, or more like a floating being, like some people think. I don't know. To me, that's what I was thinking, like the floating magical type person. I don't know if magical was the right word to say, but for lack of a better term, the magical person, where you see flying. But I don't know, and I think that was so cool that they kind of had that connection with God through the angel, and through the angel saying what God wanted them to do and stuff. And I thought that was really cool. That's gonna be it for today. It was a little short. It was 2 chapters. yeah, tell me what you think, guys, about me doing the whole welcome this today, this is what's gonna happen and things like that, or if you just want me to go straight into the reading. And comment on what you want to see in the pictures in the background. Sorry, I'm not doing the videos anymore. It was taking so much space. Like, I would have had to buy by today probably 3 more um like 32 gigabyte hard drives. I know I could delete them all, but I don't want to do that just because I want to have at least 10 days of data. So anyways, this saves me a lot of space and storage as far as like gigabytes and things like that. So sorry about that. But do tell me what you want to see in the pictures and I will try my best to find them. And yeah. So that's pretty much it for today, guys. Hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you all tomorrow. Bye.